Later that afternoon, the cauldrons all set for cooking, Hannah walked with Rivka and Shifrei to the water pump. Esther was there already, filling a bucket in slow motion for the women in the sewing shop. She had lost a lot of weight. The dress hung in loose folds on her frail body. Her eyes were dead. Overhead, the swallows dipped down to catch bugs rising from the ground. Then they soared back up beyond the barracks. Hannah watched them for a moment, scarcely breathing. It was as if all nature ignored what went on in the camp. There were brilliant sunsets and soft breezes. Around the commandant's house, bright flowers were teased by the wind. Once she'd seen a fox cross the meadow to disappear into the forest. It had been in a book, she thought. The skies would be weeping, the wallows mourning by the smokestack. Her mouth twisted at the irony of it, and she turned to the three girls at the water pump. Suddenly, with great clarity, she saw another scene superimposed upon it. Two laughing girls at a water fountain dressed in bright blue pants and cotton sweaters. They were splashing water on each other. A bell rang to call them to class. Hannah blinked, but the image held. Drawing a deep breath, she forced herself to bring the camp back into focus. It was like turning a camera lens. One way she could see the water fountain, the other way the pump. Her heart was thudding under the thin gray dress. She was afraid to move, and then suddenly she made up her mind. "Listen," she said to the girls at the pump. "I have a story to tell you." "A story?" Shifrei looked up, her light-lashed eyes bright. "You have not told us the story since the first day." She hesitated a minute, afraid to name the memory, afraid a guard might hear and somehow steal it away. "At the wedding," Hannah said. "Funny how saying it brings it back. At the wedding, at school, at home." "Tell the story," Rivka pleaded. "I would like to hear it." For the first time, she sounded like the 10-year-old she was. Hannah nodded. "This isn't a once upon a time story," she said. "This is about now and the future." "I do not want a story about now," Esther said slowly. "There is too much now." "And not enough future," Shifrei added. Hannah moved close to them. "Now, 6 million Jews will die in camps like this. Die. There, I've said the word. Does it make it more real or less? And how do I know 6 million would die? I'm not sure how, but I do." 6 million, Shifrei said. "That's impossible. There are not 6 million Jews in the whole world." 6 million, Hannah said, "but that's not all the Jews there are. In the end, in the future, there will be Jews still, and there will be Israel, a Jewish state, where there will be a Jewish president and a Jewish Senate, and in America, Jewish movie stars." "I do not believe you," Esther said. "Not 6 million. "You must believe me," Hannah said, "because I remember." "How can remember what has not happened yet?" asked Rivka. "Memory does not work that way. Forward. It only works backward. Yours is not a memory. It is a dream." "It's not a dream, though," Hannah said. "It is as if I have 3 memories, one on top of another. I remember living with Gittel and Shemuel. May he rest in peace," Rivka said. "May they all rest in peace," Hannah added. "And Lublin," put in Shifrei. "You remember Lublin?" "Yes, there is Lublin. But that memory is like a story I've been told. I don't remember Lublin, but I remember being there. And then there's my memory of the future. It's very strong and real now, as if the more I try to remember, the more I do. Memory on memory on memory, like a layer cake." "I remember cake," Shifrei said. "Impossible," Esther said. "Even crazy," Rivka pointed out. "Nevertheless," Hannah said, "I remember. And you must remember too, so that whoever of us survives this place will carry the message into that future." "What message?" Rivka asked, her voice breathy and low. "That we will survive, the Jews. That what happens here must never happen again," Hannah said. That 4 girls are talking and not working," interrupted a harsh voice. They looked up. Standing over them was a new guard. His nose reddened from the sun. He had a strange, pleased look on his face. "I have been told that the ones who do not work are to go over there." He pointed to the gate. "No," Rivka cried. "We were working. We were." She held up the empty bucket. The guard dismissed her pleas with a wave of his hand, and all 4 of them held their breath, waiting. "I was told we need 3 more Jews to make a full load. Commandant Brewer believes in efficiency, and our units do not work well with short loads. So I was sent to find 3 of the commandant's pets who were not working. He told me personally to make up the load." "We were working," Shifrei began. Her words tumbled out in a rush. "And we are healthy. We are healthy, hard workers. You never take healthy, hard workers. It was one of the rules. Never." The guard smiled again. "Since Commandant Brewer makes the rules, I guess he can change the rules. But why are you worrying so, Lebchen? I only need 3. Perhaps I won't take you." He looked over the girl slowly, the smile still on his face. I'll take you. You are the least healthy. He pointed to Esther, who almost fell forward in front of him, as if someone had suddenly kicked her in the back of the knees. Chiffre drew in a great loud breath and closed her eyes. And you, he said, playfully putting his finger on Chiffre's nose, almost as if he were flirting with her, because you protest too much after all. And Hannah let out a breath as slowly as she dared. She did nothing to call attention to herself. To stay alive one more day, one more hour, one more minute. That was all any of them thought of. It was all they could hope for. Rivka was right. What she had was not a memory, but a dream. And you, with the babushka, like a little old lady, I'll take you too. He pointed to Rivka, winked at Hannah, then turned and marched smartly toward the gate, confident that the chosen girls would follow. Rivka gave Hannah a quick hug. Who will remember for you now? She whispered. Hannah said nothing. The memories of Lublin and the shuttle and the camp itself suddenly seemed like the dreams she had lived, and would live in the future. She, or someone with whom she shared memories, but Rivka had only now. Without thinking through the why of it, Hannah snatched the kerchief off Rivka's head. Run, she whispered. Run to the midden. Run to the barracks. Run to the kitchen. The guard is new. He won't know the difference. One Jew is the same as another to him. Run for your life, Rivka. Run for your future. Run, run, run. And remember. As she spoke, she shoved Rivka away, untied the knot of the kerchief with trembling fingers, and retied it about her own head. Then, as Rivka's footsteps faded behind her, she walked purposefully head high after Chiffre and Esther. When she caught up with them, she put her arms around their waist as if they were 3 schoolgirls just walking in the yard. Let me tell you a story, she said quietly, ignoring the fact that they were both weeping. Chiffre loudly and Esther with short little gasps. A story I know you both will love. The strength in her voice quieted them, and they began to listen even as they walked. It is about a girl, an ordinary sort of girl named Hannah Stern, who lives in New Rochelle. Not Old Rochelle. There is no Old Rochelle, you see. Just New Rochelle. It is in America, where pictures come across a cable moving pictures right into your living room. And she stopped as the dark door into Lilith's cave opened before them. And where one day, I bet, a Jewish girl will be president if she wants to be. Are you ready now? Ready or not, here we come. All 3 of them took deep, ragged breaths and walked in through the door into the endless night. Okay, so we have here Hannah beginning to remember again. So at the very beginning, remember, we have Hannah's mom asking her over and over, please remember, remembering is really important. Hannah said she's tired of remembering. This was all kind of during Passover and the Seder dinner. And then when she gets to Lublin, she can't remember anything. And as the story goes on, she's having a harder and harder time remembering things. And now as she's going into Lilith's cave, and right before this, she's really starting to remember things and share with the other girls. So this is really important. Remember this concept, this theme idea of remembering. So we'll see what happens in the next part of the book, and that will be in the next video. Take care.